Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Ellen Barrett, and we have a great show for you today. And we are starting off talking about fitness and a new class that you might want to try out. It sounds pretty cool. I'm excited to learn more about it. This is Reggie Davis with Rhythmic Agility. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Hey, no problem.
And you're the creator of this fitness program, and I want to talk about why you created Rhythmic Agility.
I created Rhythmic Agility as a new way to have fun working out. I mean, sometimes working out can be a little boring and repetitive.
Absolutely. I know that's always my struggle personally, is finding something that, keeps me, unsure what's going to happen next, keeps my focus.
And that's what Rhythmic Agility is all about. It's all about putting a little body movement and having fun. That's why I created it.
Absolutely. And something that's unique about your program is the agility ladder, which I think many people may feel, if it's not something they've ever used in a particular sport, maybe they don't know how to use it or things like that, and you incorporate that into the entire workout. Why?
Because it gives a person a way to express themselves
and
have fun with the agility ladder. Usually it's for quick feet, but I'm putting it in to kind of do a little, not dancing, but a little bit more movement to your agility drill.
And I know we were chatting before the show started here, and we had come up with the word flow, which I think is a good way to describe it. And you had said that typically with an agility ladder, it's a box formation that you consider.
Well, no, more like what I would say is, look at a box, how straight it is with its four sides. But Rhythmic Agility is the moving of a box that changes shape on a regular basis. So
I like that. Moving with your body, yet getting that heart rate up, I'm sure, is a big part of it, and having fun.
Yes, like I said, I sell it as fun, 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 fun.
So what are the benefits of Rhythmic Agility?
Well, the benefits of Rhythmic Agility is body fat.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of body fat because you're constantly going. It's 30 minutes, okay? Lose weight. Everybody wants to lose weight. And also you feel good. I mean, with the movements that we're doing, your body will loosen up and then you just don't feel tight.
Sure.
And I'm 36 years old and I don't feel that way anymore by all the effort that I put into this. It really helps your body.
Is it constant movement throughout that entire 30 minutes? Is that part of the process?
So I put the songs together from a standpoint. There are like mini breaks, but the shortest break that I usually have in there is maybe about 10 seconds. So we can reset back at either the bottom or the top of the ladder.
So if people are watching this and thinking, this sounds pretty cool, I want to try this out, where can they do Rhythmic Agility?
Well, right now you can do Rhythmic Agility at the Princeton Club West at 9 a.m. on Wednesday mornings. It is for members, but if you would like to, get a guest pass, you're more welcome to come in and try it out, because I'm here to show it to everybody. So.
Perfect. And what are the long-term goals, would you say, for Rhythmic Agility? Obviously, like you said, losing weight, burning fat, some other benefits.
Well, the long-term goal for me for Rhythmic Agility is being able to do it at home. The agility ladder that I've created is a 5-square agility ladder that's a mat, kind of like a yoga mat that you can carry around. It's lightweight. So pretty much what the future I'm hoping for Rhythmic Agility is that you can go to a store, you can buy the DVD with your agility mat, and then you can do it at home. 30-minute workout at home, 3 times a week. You'll be looking good. I guarantee it.
I love that because I think it can be kind of intimidating to think of how you're going to plan in an hour and a half workout 3 or 4 times a week. If you're working, maybe if you have a family, you've got kids, you've got a busy life, but there is no excuse that you can't fit in a 30-minute workout 3 times a week.
Absolutely. I mean, I've already practiced it at home to get that feel of what it's like for 30 minutes, and it's quick. I mean, imagine putting in an hour's worth of effort into 30 minutes of your day and looking great. That's what Rhythmic Agility is about.
I like that even more, an hour's worth, of burning fat in half an hour. That's ideal.
I mean, when you do it, you're sweating, you're exhausted, but you realize also you just had a lot of fun doing that. And I tell people, usually if you're gonna sweat and be exhausted, why don't you have fun doing it?
So the big question that I think everybody has is Rhythmic Agility for everyone?
Yes, and here's the thing. People want to think it's more like dance.
Yeah.
It's not dancing. It's agility drills with a little bit of twist, a little bit of bounce, a little bit of funk that will give you that feeling of dancing. But it's just basic standard exercises and agility drills, a little bit more of my flavor added to it, which will give you that look.
I love that, a little more flavor.
A little more flavor, that's it. That's what everybody needs, a little bit more flavor.
There you go. And something, too, that maybe you can do as a couple. Men don't have to feel intimidated. It's a lot of fun, though, for women, families. I could picture your kids getting into it. So it sounds like a lot of fun. And again, this is Reggie Davis with Rhythmic Agility. Thank you so much for being with us today.
No problem, thank you.
And Talk of the Town, we'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and I am joined now with Annie and Betsy over at Hare on Monroe Street. Thank you both for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It is such a great street that you guys are on. I have to kind of note to first, because that is one of my favorite areas to just walk down the street, hang out, and you guys are all such a family on Monroe Street, it seems like. So what a great place to have you guys and all the services you offer. And I want to talk about how you guys are different from other salons.
We are different. We do a lot of little things for our guests that kind of set us apart. So like when people come in for a service, they get a head massage, they get a hand massage. We do makeup touch-ups at the end of a service.
Nice.
And yeah, so it's just little things to kind of make their appointment a little more special. Yeah.
For sure. And I can actually add to that, because when I stopped in and I first met you, Annie, I think the first thing, I was just a stranger walking in off the street, curious about what you guys were doing. And I think somebody offered me, you know, a coffee or a beverage. And I'm like, oh, I'm just here to say hello. I'm not actually a client, but I was like, I like you guys. You guys are good people.
Oh, thanks.
And you guys are, I love it. And you guys are also really active in the community, it sounds like. And I kind of want to hear some more about that and what you guys do.
So we, every year we donate, or not donate, but we provide a scholarship to a local cosmetology student. And then we do also donate to a lot of local charities and silent auctions. And then we also sponsor Camp Bingo, which is 3 times a year, and it's put on by the AIDS Network. It's a fundraiser for the AIDS Network. So
very cool. So involved in a lot of different areas, it sounds like.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And I think not only does your involvement in the community and kind of like how we touched on how you guys are so different kind of speaks to the atmosphere over at Hare, but I just want to hear more about the experience and what it's like over there.
We really try very hard to make people feel really comfortable and make the experience enjoyable and create a very laid-back, welcoming atmosphere.
Absolutely. And who would you say comes to Hare? Who is your clientele?
Everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we get families, students, professionals. I mean, it's such a great area, so we get literally everybody. It's
absolutely
awesome.
Walking down the street and thinking you need a haircut. It's a good place to stop in.
Exactly.
Perfect. What do you guys specialize in? I know, like you said, you know, you have services really for everybody, but what is your specialties?
So as the name says, we do hair. So that's what we specialize in. Cuts, colors, we do Brazilian blowouts. And then we also do offer facial waxing, which is something I don't think people know about, but we do.
Absolutely. And so some other services as well if you're stopping in. Awesome. I love the name too, because I think sometimes, you know, different salons or things like that, different creative names, which are great, but you're speaking to exactly what you do. There are no questions about when you walk past. You know exactly what you're going to get, plus the great service. So that is awesome. Now, do you guys have any special events coming up?
We do. It's actually more of a festival that is on Monroe Street this Saturday, the 24th. It's from 10 to 3. And there's just going to be sales and other really great activities for the family. And then we're going to be doing a sale all week long this week until Saturday. So all of our retail will be on sale.
So a good time to stop in, especially if you're in the area, and get some good prices.
Yeah,
awesome.
For sure.
And I know, Annie, you're a manager over at Hare, and then Betsy, you're a stylist. And so before we go, I just want to hear from each of you really quick. What would you say is your favorite part about working at Hare?
I love that we're all like a big family. And I think Betsy would say the same thing.
Absolutely.
Everybody works really hard to just make sure everyone else is taken care of, whether it be your coworkers or family members, or I'm sorry, not family members. Clients.
Coworkers.
Clients. So, that's really awesome, and that's what I love most about it.
I love it.
Yeah, I've worked for Tony, the owner, for over 12 years, and it is such a family feel. It's just really nice to be in that kind of environment. It makes for longevity in your career a lot more fun.
And I totally picked up on that too. Like I said, when I walked in, everybody was happy and smiling, and that makes such a difference. And especially when it comes to a haircut, I know for me, I'm a very picky person, and sometimes it can be kind of scary. So knowing you're in the right hands and in safe hands makes a big difference. So thank you so much, you both, for being here today. Again, Annie and Betsy with Hare. Thank you so much. And we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and I am joined now by our news partner, Phil Anderson for U.S. Senate. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Ellen.
And today we're going to cover privacy.
Yes.
And it's, a really big topic, a lot of layers, but I want to start off with, do we have a constitutional right to privacy?
We do, although the Constitution doesn't mention privacy specifically.
Sure.
Certainly the Fourth Amendment in its statement that we should be free from illegal searches and seizures implies that. And I think it's safe to say that the founders, that wrote the Constitution and our Declaration intended for us to have a right to privacy based on their general idea of we being free citizens and free to conduct our own affairs as we choose. I think that makes sense.
Do you think that right is being violated?
It's certainly being violated every single day. The most common ways that people think about privacy invasions are things like internet privacy, which of course has been a big issue over the last few years, with data being farmed and given by Google and whoever else to the government. Other things that are the way that the government invades our privacy in terms of even telling us how we should eat, what we should eat, drink, and smoke. Those are things that violate our privacy. As well as who we should marry. That's been a big issue recently as well. And all of those things are ways that the government, for whatever reason, thinks that they have the right to invade our privacy when, in fact, they don't.
That's really interesting because I think you're right. People, when you think about privacy, you think about your cell phone and your computer.
Sure.
But there are many dimensions to privacy and how people lead their lives, really. Very interesting. And so how do you think our right to privacy works with the need for police, their need to investigate crimes and terrorism?
Well, especially since 9/11, but to a certain extent before that, there's been this justification put forward by Democrats and Republicans alike, for the most part, that we need to give up some of our privacy for the sake of being safe. Now, we've seen over the last 15 years that they haven't used what we've given them in terms of our privacy very well. We've still had domestic terrorist incidents, and we haven't been able to prevent them. And we haven't had, really any increase in our general ability to protect ourselves at all. So the whole trade-off is kind of ridiculous. If it were effective, that might be an argument. But I would argue, and I think any libertarian would argue, that the right to privacy trumps defense in a certain way. It trumps that safety. If we can be held hostage by these anti-privacy regulations and rules, then we're not a free people anymore. And we need to be able to exercise that in order to be the people that we are made to be.
And I know you kind of touched on this as well, but how does the Democratic Party and the Republican Party kind of see this issue of privacy?
Well, they've both attacked it, generally in different ways. Republicans have been happy to tell us what to eat, drink, or smoke, who to marry over the years. Democrats have been involved in our personal finances. They're not public, they're private. What I make is the fruit of my labor. I should be able to dispose of that how I choose, and that's not been the philosophy put forward by Democrats. But in terms of internet privacy and the Fourth Amendment, they both violated that willingly over the course of the last 15 years with this idea that it's for our safety or for defense or counterterrorism or whatever. But they're both happy to do that. Neither party really represents a true free person ideology anymore, the way that libertarians do.
And so kind of like you just touched on right there, how does the Libertarian Party differ from those two main parties?
Well, we see, as we've mentioned in previous Talk of the Towns, that rights reside in the individual and can only be delegated to the government by consent. So there's no general right by a government, by a majority of people, to invade our privacy. That's something that has to be delegated individual by individual to whoever, whether they decide to use Google, whether you decide to submit information to the government or be subject to searches or seizures or whatever. Those are all things that reside with the individual, but Republicans and Democrats see it as something that they can, just by majority vote or in an emergency, so-called emergency, invade our privacy in those ways.
Now, Phil, we've only got about 30 seconds here, but I want to hear about what you plan to do as senator on this issue.
Well, I'm going to fight like crazy to get rid of any government spying on through the internet, through data buys from Google or whoever. And in regards to the other things as well, we should be free to eat, drink, smoke what we want, marry who we want. All of those things that are essential to a free person need to be returned to the free person and not be infringed on by the government. So in all those ways, I'm going to always steadily fight for those things in the United States Senate as a matter of principle.
Phil Anderson for U.S. Senate, thank you for being with us today and talking about this topic.
Excellent. Thanks, Ellen.
We'll be back with more here on Talk of the Town right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and I'm going to touch now on a really cool event that's coming up here in the Madison community. And with me now I have Jerry Grog, and you are with the Madison Trust for Historic Preservation. You're the tour, can't say that word today, tour committee chair. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, I'm very pleased to be here.
We're excited to have you on the show. This sounds like a really cool event. It's coming up on October 1st. And so it's the UW-Madison's agricultural campus, and it's going to be a tour, and kind of sounds pretty interesting, not just a tour of the facility, but kind of about its impact on the community and really in Wisconsin with different scientific discoveries. So it sounds like it'll be just a really great experience. First, though, I want to know about the reason for creating this tour in particular.
The impetus for this was initiated by Madison Trust volunteer member Peter Gottlieb.
Sure.
He wanted to share with the public the historically significant buildings on the University of Wisconsin-Madison's College of Agriculture campus, and also the research and teaching that has gone on there. This was, looking at the research, was actually the first expression of the Wisconsin idea. And that's the idea that whatever research and teaching goes on at the university should be extended throughout the state to benefit the people, the residents of Wisconsin.
A great idea, and like you said, really the Wisconsin idea. So a really important mission that has been applied to a lot of academic facilities in our state. And what can somebody expect to see on the tour if they come tag along?
We'll be looking at 8 different buildings on campus. These buildings were all designed and built between the 1890s and 1917. This was the period when the College of Agriculture really took off and became a leader in farming nationally. We'll see on these buildings architectural styles. Some of them will be Queen Anne, Richardsonian Romanesque Revival, a big long term.
Ooh.
But docents leading the tours will describe the characteristics of these. There'll be some craftsman buildings, some Beaux-Arts classical. Let's see, I mentioned Queen Anne. Yep. Also, Tudor Revival, sure. And Norman. And the Norman architecture is interesting because it's the half timbering that was seen on so many farms in Normandy, France. Also a big farming area, dairy area of Europe.
So will people get to go inside the buildings as well?
We will go inside one building, and that's the Stock Pavilion. That building was designed and built in 1909 as an exhibition space for farmers wanting to show their horses and other draft animals. It's also been used for rodeo shows and for cattle and horse judging events. I think of all the buildings that people will see on the tour, the Stock Pavilion is probably the most familiar because it seats 2,000 people, and for when it was built, was the largest public auditorium in the city. The shows that have gone on there, it also has exceptional acoustics, which nobody thought it would have, or it wasn't planned for that. But because of its good acoustics, there have been many speeches given there. Harry Truman campaigned for president there, as did Bill Clinton. Martin Luther King spoke there, and there have been numerous concerts there by orchestras such as Duke Ellington, and then later concerts by Pete Seeger and Joan Baez. So we'll go into that
incredible.
building.
Wow. And so if somebody is thinking, I have to, get in on this, where can they sign up and get tickets?
Right. The easiest way is to go to our website, madisonpreservation.org, and there's a link there to this October 1st agriculture campus tour. The tickets are selling for $30 for the public, $20 for UW students, because we'd love to have especially College of Agriculture students come on the tour, and $25 for our members. The tours will be timed, so the first tour will take off at 10 o'clock, the last one at 2 o'clock. They're each 90 minutes long, so every half hour a new tour will start out, led by a docent. And at the end of the tour participants are welcome to go to the Babcock Dairy Store and to purchase an ice cream cone.
Definitely that ice cream, something you don't want to miss out on whenever you come to Madison or the UW area, and you're not going to want to miss this event either. So again, Jerry Grog, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing this event.
Thank you, Ellen.
And thank you all for watching Talk of the Town. You can find us next time only on Wisconsin's 57.